Good morning. I'm very humbled to be here today. It's a great August day in this great month of August 2011. It will go down in history as another one of those wonderful days here in Society Hill. I got up this morning and I thought about it and I said, it's an awful great responsibility and a great tribute to be able to come here and speak today on this event. There's at least many other people here in this audience that could do the very same thing and could probably do it better. We just happen to be able to have the great job and responsibility to represent you in Columbia. And then I started thinking about the history of Society Hill and how little I knew about it and how much we all needed to know and how important it was to you that lived here, that grew up here, that families came here. And my wife's own family is from here. And I ran upon a little brief summary I want to share, written by someone else. The Society Hill was settled by a church congregation which was given a tract along the PD River on the border of Darlington and Marlborough counties. In around 1736 or 37, the colonial government granted land along the river for the sole use of Welsh Baptists of Delaware. They then established their colony, settling in the bend of the river. They called their little village Long Bluff. By 1750, the settlement had become an important trading post. Boat landing was chosen as the site for the county courthouse. St. David's Society was formed in 1777 to promote education in the area. The residents built St. David's Academy shortly after the Revolutionary War on a small rise a little way from the river. The Welsh Baptist Church went up near the school, and a small community grew up around these buildings. Long Bluff, then abandoned in favor of the new site, was given a new name. Society Hill is a small community, rich in historic old buildings and southern hospitality, the oldest settlement in Darlington County. Now I thought, why is that so important? Well, that's going to be the very basis of the library, because it's going to give us the opportunity to end up learning. I'm glad to have played a little small part in the first $250,000 that was given here from the Senate appropriations bill. Senator Hugh Leatherman was very helpful. The rest of the delegation supported it as we went through the measure. I want to take a special opportunity to thank the Darling County Council after many years and time to dedicate the remaining funds to this $50,000 per year until it's paid off to pay the balance. It takes a great responsibility. It's a great use of our county resources. It's all about prioritizing the resources that we end up having. And then I started thinking about the community and what we are really doing as we dedicate this library. And so, as the state library director is here, and many other librarians around, Mr. Goebel and others, and Jim Johnson was very responsible as we went along in this lane as we started out. I got invested in the library. And after trying to get money for the library, it's a really tough responsibility because sometimes we take for granted what we have in our home. Not everyone has it. Reading is very important to young people early on. It gives them the opportunity to gain knowledge. Once you gain knowledge, then it helps you through your course of events in life. Education is a precondition to success in life. You have to have it. For those that expand their horizon and are able to move on, they're able to dedicate themselves to their family, to their communities, and to create an existence. And so supporting libraries is our job because it serves our communities by preserving our history as a people so that someday, generations from now, a child will be able to ask, what is it to be a South Carolinian? What is it to be American? And within the volumes inside that building, they'll find the answer. Our library stands as a gateway to growth where with only a few strokes of the keyboard, guess what? You can also find a job. Or you can find the information that you may need to open a business, maybe one of your own. And perhaps more importantly, supporting libraries is our duty as parents, aunts and uncles and grandparents, because we increasingly find ourselves raising our children in a very difficult world. A world that's filled with questions, and not necessarily a world that's always filled with answers. In the 24-hour day that we have with Babel and junk food and those things that stand out with our children, the library could stand apart. It could be a tranquil setting. Sometimes some things oppress, but the libraries will empower. Sometimes things will demean, but libraries will uplift. Sometimes things will confuse, but the libraries will enlighten. It is the place where ideas are born, where you have those fertile imaginations that take roots like forests and grows in fruit trees, and where the principles of idealism upon which we base our lives. It's just the beginning. And sometimes we can't take a child out of a community. But when they get in the library, they can take a ride down the Mississippi River, or they can climb Mount Kilimanjaro by putting themselves and immersing them in the books. It is where the doctors and engineers of tomorrow can find the wonders of science and spread out before them, where the teachers of tomorrow find their love of knowledge, and where the leaders of our future generations will first learn that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they endowed by the Creator certain unalienable rights, but among them are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. How can we fail when we know that the library is where any child, any man or woman, or any one of us that may be frustrated or confused in our direction or desperate to know who we are or where we can go can pick up a book and pick up a story and learn once and for all that they're not alone. We know that democracy, to survive and thrive, people have to be able to participate freely and effectively in government and in of themselves, and the citizens must be educated and informed. Our libraries will provide a platform of resources and services for our communities. They preserve our rich and diverse culture and history and transmit it from one generation to the next. They provide social settings. They provide economic development. They provide extraordinary opportunities and recreation and enjoyment. And most of all, to serve as a primary social agent in support of education and providing the resources and services that complement the structure of formal education and extend education to an enterprise that will last the length of a lifetime. So I would say that libraries are very good at selecting, organizing, and enhancing access to information. I only ask you this question: for what purpose? And I trust you would agree that the purpose is to support and strengthen the community and the infrastructure for education. And so I would say that it gives us the opportunity now to survive and to flourish. What I didn't know, as I looked around and wondered if our children would remember a few people that came out of Society Hill and how it will continue to sustain itself. I name a couple, and I realize that some may be family members, and I will miss some. But Pat Crawford was a Major League Baseball player. Who would know that he came from Society Hill? Henry Marshall Furman had no idea that from Society Hill was a great lawyer. In Oklahoma and Texas became a judge. His father started Furman University. A minister passing through Society Hill. Son became a very famous lawyer, a very famous judge. Zachariah Wine, a legislator, right here in Society Hill. If we look back, look at the libraries that were started. Look at what happened. Look at this moment in time in 1822, when a group of citizens started probably one of the oldest libraries in the state. 1822 and $240. So will our children sustain themselves 11 years short of 2 centuries and started a library in Society Hill? And here we are in 2011 carrying on. Will we remain for another 2 centuries? So today I ask that we dedicate ourselves so that we can carry on the legacy for our children and the legacy for Society Hill. And within those books, within that library, and within the history of this community, is they would know a few things that you all have come to love and try to sustain. The Welks Neck Baptist Church, the old Society Hill Library, the Welks Neck Church Baptistry, the wine store, St. David's Academy. How about nearby old St. David Episcopal Church, close by Shalom? Let's learn about it. How about Trinity Church? How about Union Baptist Church? Coley Hill Plantation, DeWitt Ellis Burn House, Colonel Cole Tones Monument. So what legacy will our children have? And not to exclude the Revolutionary War battle site. And so our responsibility is to think that on December 7th, 1822, a long time before Pearl Harbor, they were establishing a library in Society Hill. And here on this day in August of 2011, we're gathered together to continue the history of Society Hill in a small community in Darlington County that was here a long time before the rest of the county. The library was here a long time before the other libraries. It's our opportunity to come forward and to go on. And so I'll conclude by saying thank you for all the citizens here who are supporting. Particularly thank you for those that are in the library system. You are the avenue for our children in the future. I want to thank those that are in government that were able to assist and that were resistant to, there was a little hiccup as to whether or not we would have a library at all. Thank you for persisting, because today we all stand proud and we all stand together. Because with this library, it is a great testament to this community, and it is also evidence that this community will go on and on and on. And hopefully one day our children and their children will stand before us and tell the story about some of you in the audience, because the history is rich. Last story is when I walked up, Judge Miller was telling me about great people that are from Society Hill. He talked about Judge Spears' family, Judge Jameson's family, where their place in history is. Give us that ability to do that. And Paul was telling the Ephesians, don't get tired of doing what is good. You will reap a rich harvest at the appropriate time if you don't give up and continue to work hard. So today is a great day. I'm very humbled to be here and to play a small part. And not everyone would have gotten mentioned in this little short speech. But all of you are important. There are no big I's and there are no little U's, because this community will go on and on. And Society Hill, being the oldest community in Darling County, one of the oldest communities in the state of South Carolina, will live forever. And this library will be a great